Shane, take a look at the Class 1A and Class 2A rankings from last week, and there wasn't a whole lot of changes going on. I mean, there was a little bit of movement in 1A with some teams that had dropped out, like Carrollton getting pounded by Beardstown, and
people finally saw that.
Yeah, they're definitely dropping out of our top 15. But you take a look at the top part of Class 1A and the majority of the top 10 and 2A, there was not a lot of change because they all did what we expected them to do.
Yeah, that's pretty much, I mean, it's always nice when you don't have not nice to watch the games per se when you don't have a top 10 matchup, but as far as doing the rankings, it's a lot easier. If your top 10 wins, you don't really have to shuffle around that much.
Right. I mean, some of the more notable games, too, you had Fieldcrest losing to Tri-Valley, which was a good game. That was only a 29-20 matchup. We've already stated, I guess we haven't stated yet, but the game, Lena Winslow-Forreston, which a lot of people around the state were trying to pay attention to because we know where Forreston's at, but a lot of people around the state don't understand, and it's evident in how they're ranking Forreston.
We've seen that in years past.
Yes. You go off of who Forreston is the last 4 years, and, everybody graduated, everybody's gone. Yeah, still a very formidable team, still deserving of a state ranking at some point, whether it be in the top 10 or honorable mention, but they're just not at that upper echelon where they have been. The rest of, 1A and 2A, the remainder of those games pretty much were point on, blowout type games. So we'll get to breaking down our individual state rankings, and then we'll bring you our panel state rankings coming up next. All right, Shane, we'll start off at Class 1A like we typically do, and I'll go ahead and go first. At number 1, I have the GCMS Falcons. They've been my number 1 team all year. Another big win, not going to take them out. At number 2, Lena Winslow. Again, another team, been there all year. Another win. Number 3, Aurora Christian. Number 4, Tuscola. Number 5, I'm still holding Athens. Even though they had that week 1 loss to Williamsville, they come back and they beat Pleasant Plains, who was in the 3A state championship just a year ago. Number 6, I have Dakota. Number 7, I have Princeville. Number 8 is Ottawa Marquette. At number 9, moving into my top 10 for the first time this year, is Argenta Oriana. And at number 10, I have Red Hill. In my top 15, or in my honorable mention, out of the NUIC at number 11, I have Milledgeville. And the Forreston Cardinals drop out of my top 10 this week, and they're at number 13.
Nice, Kyle. My top 10 has not changed since last week because none of them lost, so I kept them the same. Number 1, Lena Winslow, followed by Tuscola, the 2A state champion GCMS at number 3, followed by Aurora Christian at 4, Ottawa Marquette at 5, followed by Athens at 6. After that, I have Dakota at 7 with Princeville at 8, Red Hill at 9, Argenta Oriana at 10. And like you, Kyle, things shifted a little bit with that loss of Forreston. I didn't have them in my top 10 last week, but I like Milledgeville at 12 and Forreston at 13 in 1A.
Very good, Shane. So our panel Class 1A looks like this. At number 1, we have Lena Winslow as they beat Forreston 36-16, who was our previous number 10. GCMS walked away with a 41-12 win over Eureka. They're at number 2. Aurora Christian cruised to a win, 34-14 over Chicago Bronzeville, while Tuscola comes in at number 4 with their 34-0 win in the Cola War against Arcola. Number 5, Athens with that 36-15 win over Pleasant Plains that we already mentioned, and Dakota is at number 6 with their 49-6 win over AFC. Number 7 are the Princes of Princeville as they beat A-Town 42-7, and at number 8 is Ottawa Marquette with their 31-0 win over Seneca. Number 9 is Red Hill as they got by Robinson 28-14, and coming into our top 10 for the first time this year as a panel, Argenta Oriana with their 46-14 win over Macon Meridian. In the NUIC, outside of the top 10, we have Milledgeville at number 11 as they beat Polo 26-8. Forreston drops down to number 13 with their 36-16 loss to Lena Winslow. And Stockton is at number 16 with their 59-0 win over South Beloit. Moving into Class 2A, my Class 2A rankings are going to go as such. Remaining at that number 1 spot are the Moroa Forsyth Trojans. Coming at number 2 is Orion. At number 3, I have Sterling Newman. Number 4 is St. Teresa. At number 5, I dropped them down last week, but they hold still to this week, is Chicago Hope. Number 6, I have Bismarck Henning. Number 7, Rock Ridge. Number 8, West Hancock. Number 9, I have Pana. And number 10, I have Tri-Valley. And this week, I have dropped all of the NUIC teams out of the top 15 in my Class 2A rankings.
What a savage. My 2A top 10 has not changed as well, but I guarantee it will next week. Number 1, Moroa Forsyth, followed by Sterling Newman at 2. Number 3 will be Orion. St. Teresa at 4. Number 5 team is Rock Ridge, followed by West Hancock at 6. 7 would be Pana. 8 would be Chicago Hope. 9, Tri-Valley, and 10, Bismarck Henning. I just about dropped them out like Kyle, but I have EPC at 14 and West Carroll at 15.
Very good, Shane. And for our panel Class 2A vote, number 1 is Moroa Forsyth, where they hold firm with a 35-7 win over New Berlin. Number 2 are the Newman Comets with their 40-0 win over Princeton. Number 3 are the Orion Chargers with their 62-0 win over Sherrard. And number 4 is St. Teresa as they beat River Valley 61-6. And number 5 is Chicago Hope as they beat Chicago DePaul 35-0. And number 6 is Rock Ridge where they beat Erie Prophetstown 40-8. And number 7, West Hancock traveled down to St. Louis to play Carnahan. They came away with a 36-6 win. At number 8 is Bismarck Henning with their 56-14 win over Moments. At number 9 is Pana with their 55-6 win over Roxana. And at number 10, Tri-Valley had the hardest game of all the top 10s with their 29-20 win over our previous number 11, Fieldcrest. As far as the NUIC goes, at number 16 are the EPC Wildcats, as they do move to 2-0, but their win was rather unimpressive, winning 26-16 over Amboy, and West Carroll as they beat Dupec 6-0. All right, we're going to move into our NUIC Power 5, Shane, and we saw quite a bit of changes here as the first movements of the year happened. And I'll go ahead and start with mine. At number 1 are the Lena Winslow Panthers, as expected. At number 2, that stays the same too with the Dakota Indians. New to my number 3 position are the Milledgeville Missiles. At number 4 are the Stockton Blackhawks, who enter into my top 5 for the first time this season. And dropping down to number 5 are the Forreston Cardinals.
Thanks, Kyle. My 2 top teams are still the same as they have been the first 2 weeks with Lena Winslow and Dakota. I still leave Forreston at that 3 spot, followed by EPC at 4. We might have some shifting there going into next week as well, followed by Milledgeville at my number 5 spot.
Very good. Carrie's Power 5, if you just go back about 45 seconds and copy mine, she has Lena Winslow at number 1, Dakota at number 2. She moved Milledgeville up to number 3 and Stockton up to number 4 and dropped Forreston at number 5 as well. So that brings our panel Power 5 to number 1 is Lena Winslow. Number 2 is Dakota. Moving up to number 3 this week are the Milledgeville Missiles. Dropping down to number 4, the Forreston Cardinals. And moving into the Power 5 for the first time all year are the Stockton Blackhawks. All right, that gives you a look at where we see the state rankings and our NUIC Power 5 as we head into Week 3. Shane, we got a couple good matchups here coming up. I don't see where it will necessarily affect a whole lot going on as far as the state rankings, but we could definitely see some more shifting in our NUIC Power 5 after this week.
Yeah, just a couple big games here that we've talked about that might affect rankings a little bit. That Dakota Forreston game, and then in 2A, you got Sterling Newman and Orion, number 2 and 3 or whatever we have them listed. I mean, that'll shift a little bit. regardless who wins that, the loser's going to stay in the top 10. So, I mean, you're not really going to drop anybody out as far as that's concerned.
Right. And, I mean, like you said, Camp Point Central is another team in 1A that we've definitely been keeping our eye on all season. They have not cracked into our top 10 yet. They are appearing in other people's top 10s.
They're getting close.
And they definitely are getting close, and they keep winning. And, I mean, Coach Dixon does a great job down there with the Panthers in the CP, or for CPC. So, definitely expect some big games coming forward for them. I would not be surprised if they finish the season 9-0 this year. I'd be more surprised if they did not. So, a lot of things going on. Like always, get out to the games Friday night. There's a lot of good games going on, not just in the NUIC. Like Shane stated, the Orion-Newman game is close by. That's featuring 2 of the top 5 ranked teams in the state in Class 2A, so that would be a great one as well. As always, root for the NUIC.